Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Andrew Burnett Show. Our guest this morning is a well accomplished singer songwriter, having cuts recorded by the Oak Ridge Boys, Jimmy Fortune, BJ Thomas, and many others. And recently, her song, I'm Not Going Anywhere, was recently picked up by Ascension Hospital for a national commercial campaign. Please help me welcome Miss Kelly Lang. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful, Andrew. Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's an awesome privilege to be able to have you. So, to start off, tell us a little bit about this song, I'm Not Going Anywhere.
Well, strangely enough, it's about 16 years old and maybe even a little older than that. I wrote it and it was on an album called 1111 many years ago. I think we released it in 2007. And imagine my surprise, Ascension Hospitals reached out last January and had seen me performing that at the Bluebird Cafe on a YouTube video, and they wanted it to be their theme song. And basically, they've told me that I am now the voice of their commercials. And since then, they've taken the commercials nationwide. So most everybody in the country has seen it or will be seeing it soon.
That's awesome. So, tell us a little bit about the emotions that went through your mind when Ascension Hospitals picked that up for a national commercial campaign.
Oh my goodness. It was at first I got this email from my music administrator and I almost overlooked it. I thought it was just like just a typical newsletter kind of thing. And then when it was talking about them wanting to use it and there's a storyboard with it, I just started getting very emotional, very excited. But I really thought it was just a local thing. I didn't think it was going to take off like this. And since this has taken off, People Magazine just wrote about it this week, and um, OklahomaCity.com, Oklahoman.com has taken off on it. It's just so many different people. The beautiful thing about this, though, that I really love is that I'm getting personal emails and messages from people that have been touched by the words when they have to leave their loved one at a hospital. They assure them, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just right outside, waiting for you. Or so many people have used it as funerals. Unfortunately, the mother or the spouse or whatever that might have passed felt comforted by the words, and so they've used it at their loved one's funeral. So, and I've even had people use it in their weddings. So it kind of is a broad spectrum. It touches the heart, and I'm just really honored that God gave me the words and trusted me with that. And hopefully, we'll see more people healed from this.
So, tell us a little bit about where the inspiration from the song actually came from and how you ended up writing it.
Okay. Um, well, right before I wrote it, I noticed a friend was helping her husband deal with a really terrible illness. And we knew he was going to pass away, but she was just so comforting to him, so loving to him. And nobody really was paying attention to her. And I had such sensitivity towards a widow because my mother was a very young widow as well. And so I just kept thinking, you were so strong and brave, but I just wanted to love on her and take care of her. So she kept telling him, honey, I'm not going anywhere. And so it just spoke to my heart. And lo and behold, I wrote it. And then about 3 months later, I became diagnosed with breast cancer. So to have those words already written down and to hear it was TG, my husband now, but he was my boyfriend then. He told me the same. He says, I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here. I love you. And I was like, wow, that was very pre-telling to have written that song and to have needed that comfort myself. And it was just wonderful to be assured that somebody is going to stick by your side in dark times.
That is awesome. So, you were recently surprised on Huckabee about being inducted into the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame. Tell us a little bit about that.
What a thrill. I mean, having been from Oklahoma, I don't really go back as often as I would like to, but I have strong feelings there because I've got a lot of family and a lot of memories still there. And so when Governor Huckabee surprised me with that, it was just so surreal to me because although I have an affection for Oklahoma, I'm just so blessed to have them feel the same, because that was a huge honor. There's so many really big names in that market, and in that nomination, I was along with people like Vince Gill and Miranda Lambert. I mean, the list goes on and on. I felt very honored.
Wow. So I have been listening to your project and I have to say I love it, called Old Soul.
Oh,
Tell us a
thank
little bit about that and where that name come from.
Well, I think I'm an old soul anyway. I've always gravitated towards vintage clothing and old my cars. Heck, I even like older men. What are you talking about? So I tend my musical taste tends to run, in times where I personally enjoyed music a little bit more when the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s music. I just I don't know. I listened to the radio more then and growing up around the music industry, my dad was Conway Twitty's road manager. I was around a lot of country music, but the surprising thing is we didn't really play just country music in our house. My mother always had the Frankie Valli or Gladys Knight or somebody like that playing. So it's just kind of a tapestry of songs that I grew up with that I've always loved. And ironically, I recorded this album before the pandemic kicked in, and I was very reluctant to release it because so much more serious stuff going on. But then I thought, when I'm transported back to a time that I enjoyed, it brings me happiness. So it's been a real positive thing that I was able to release it, and people were able to take their mind elsewhere, remember back in high school, or when they first heard that song. So it's been a real fun thing for me and kind of healing at the same time.
So some of my favorite songs on the project is Your Love Is Lifting Me Higher, Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. What inspired you to put them on this project?
Well, again, they were just so popular in my childhood, and the Frankie Valley thing, my mother always had blaring throughout the house, and I always loved Rita Coolidge, and heck, I thought I was Gladys Knight, so I had to throw one of her songs on there. So um, I don't know. I just these are just like I had a list of about 200 songs, and I narrowed them down to, and you know what? I ended up with more songs on this album than I should have because I really wanted to make a vinyl pressing of it. But because it was so long, I wasn't able to do that. So the next time I do this, I'll keep that in mind.
Well, Kelly, it has been an honor having you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. Tell our viewers how they can find out more information about you or purchase product.
Okay. If you can please send your listeners to kellylang.net, that will tell you basically everything. And I'm very active on social medias, Twitter. So just reach out to me if you can. And I really appreciate your support. It's so kind of you to have me.
Well, thank you so much, Kelly. God bless you, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.
God bless you as well. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.